Kia ora and welcome to Sam's Take, a series about entertainment news and reviews with me, Sam Realstone. Today, I'm diving in and breaking down another comic book film, Marvel Studios Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Directed by Ryan Coogler, we see the nation of Wakanda coming to terms with the aftermath of the sudden death of King T'Challa. His sister Shuri, played by Letitia Wright, and mother Ramonda, played by Bassett, deal with threats from outside their powerful nation, both on the surface and from the seas, with the arrival of Namor the Sub-Mariner, played by Tenoch Huerta. I'll start by saying the film is profoundly sad in moments, as many will expect after the death of Chadwick Boseman in 2020. The impact of silence is used to great effect, with many scenes revolving around the absence of T'Challa, and the world is certainly missing a great presence without Boseman. But taking up the lead role is Letitia Wright as Shuri, whose performance is powerful. Her journey across the film as she tries to find out who she is and distinguish herself to others is heartbreaking and well written. The intense reverence for her brother, for Chadwick's character of King T'Challa, is handled delicately and with grace. The plot point of his death doesn't overpower the advancement of the story of Shuri, Wakanda, or the Black Panther. But as many of the cast and crew have said, the spirits of both Chadwick Boseman and T'Challa are throughout the film. Didn't entirely feel Wright carried the film as best as she could, so it'll be interesting to see how the character evolves and how Wright evolves as an actress. Bassett as Queen Ramonda continues her gravitas from the previous film and amplifies it. She commands every scene she's in. It's Bassett after all. She pushes the story in a compelling way that doesn't just make her the mourning mother, she's given agency. Tenoch Huerta's Namor is sinister, conniving and callous. Huerta does amazing work showing Namor's volatility, highlighting the unpredictability from the comics as well as his strategist mind. He has so much presence and his fight sequences were a spectacle to watch. To be honest, he stole the whole show for me and I cannot wait to see more. Namor debuted in Marvel Comics in 1939, the first mutant and a long-time influence on the Marvel Universe. The ruler of Atlantis, he's done some pretty horrific stuff, like agreeing to help the surface world only if Sue Storm from the Fantastic Four becomes his lover, or creating a cabal of villains to destroy all of the other universes in the multiverse, but, you know, in the name of saving his own. Namor is part of the legacy of Marvel in a big way, and it's so exciting to finally have him as a big player in the MCU. Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams/Ironheart has a lot of charisma, and it's hopefully a great taste of what's to come in her own Disney Plus series coming up. Her intro scene also pays homage to when Tony Stark met Peter Parker in Spider-Man Homecoming, which I appreciated. Ironheart debuted in the comics in 2016 and is a student at MIT who creates her own Iron Man-like suit to fight crime. She hasn't got a huge history just yet, but is definitely a wonderful and fairly beloved character, particularly in the realm of representation. The film does an amazing job of further expanding the universe with the introduction of Talokan, the representation of Atlantis for the MCU. I really like the designs of the Talokan people, and seeing new tech was fun, but I would have liked to have seen more other than just the one grenade device they commonly use. But again, a great addition that opens up so many possibilities for stories. And hooray for representation of Mesoamerican culture. The music by Ludwig Göransson soars from the already lofty heights of the first film with such memorable themes and riffs for certain characters and places. Ruth E. Carter returns for another round of immaculate costuming. Her designs for Wakandan fashion are all on point to somehow create motifs and trends to make it look like it only exists within this culture. It feels like Wakanda have their own designers and artists, just adding to the immersion of the fictional country. The story does well to balance honouring the legacy of T'Challa, the introduction of characters like Namor and Riri, expanding the theme of colonization from the first film, and teasing the future of the MCU as a whole. I really enjoyed the complexity of the villain Namor. He's not just a loose cannon. You can see his point, and it was fun to see his unwavering point of view seeping into the minds of other characters. The film as a whole is a lot to soak in though, and definitely feels its length at 2 hours 40, but it's cohesive. Do some good characters get sidelined? Definitely. But I'll take that over plot holes any day. It's certainly a great addition to the MCU lore, and hopefully sets up some new and exciting threads for story and characters alike, so a recommendation from me. Now, as always, I am going to touch on a few spoilers, so if you don't want to know anything about that, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. We only get a mid-credit scene in this film, where it's revealed that T'Challa and Lupita Nyong'o's Nakia have a son, also called T'Challa. Now, in the comics, T'Challa actually has a son with X-Man Storm named Azuri, who also becomes Black Panther. Obviously, given previous rights agreements with the X-Men, that couldn't happen here, but it does lean to suggest that the younger T'Challa could or will become the Black Panther in the future, or perhaps a member of the Young Avengers team, which is seemingly building. It'll also be interesting to see whether Shuri is sidelined given this new character, but as always, only time will tell. Just before this, we see Winston Duke's M'Baku challenging the throne of Wakanda once again, as Shuri is absent from her coronation. What this means going forward is unclear. Obviously, with the traditions of Wakanda, he would seemingly go unopposed, but given Shuri's less than savoury feelings on tradition, who knows if that would stand. Maybe she's also in on it. But I do like that M'Baku still has his agency despite becoming more of a cooperative figure in recent films. As always, there's also the inclusion of some interesting Marvel characters and references. Denai Guerrera's Okoye and Michaela Cole's Arnica become Midnight Angels, the name of a subgroup of Dora Milaje who debuted in a 2010 comic called Doom War, which saw infamous Marvel villain Dr. Doom trying to steal vibranium from Wakanda. We have Mabel Cadena as Namora, who debuted in 1947 and is the cousin of Namor. She has very similar powers to him, though lacks the ability to survive on land for extended periods of time. We also have Alex Livanali as Atuma, a villainous character who debuted in 1964. He is normally an enemy of Namor from a tribe of banished Atlanteans and believes himself to be the prophesied conqueror of Atlantis. Now, there's potential I missed some things since I'm not as knowledgeable on Black Panther lore as I'd like to be, so apologies for any and all things missed. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Sam's Take. I'll see you next time for more entertainment news and reviews.